Okay, good evening, everyone. Surprised? So, wanted to introduce myself. My name is Crystal Bodie. Richard took off today to take a relaxed day, which we all need. I mean, everybody been working so hard, and especially on this platform. So I really wanted to thank my brother for creating this platform and giving all of his siblings the opportunity to feel in a safe place to speak. So, today we're going to be discussing a lot of topics. And if you're watching, you can get on live. Any of our siblings is watching, please get on with us live and let's have a conversation.
You're
Also,
breaking up.
anyone that's present, um, out there that want to make a comment, you can also comment as well.
Technical difficulties.
So,
Sorry, folks. Please bear with us. We're having a little technical difficulties. We're kind of. She's got a. Look, we're having a bandwidth problem. So please bear with us. I think we might have to relaunch. Let's see if we got a technical support in the background. Can we
can you
go
hear
in
me?
studio and pause this for a minute? Technical support. I'm asking. Yeah, but you're free of your screen is frozen.
Can you see me
Hello,
now?
background technical support. Can you hear us?
No.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause mine just 1 second.
Hello? Yeah. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay.
Hello, Melena.
Yes.
Okay, you're fine now.
Okay,
Okay, I
so
think we're.
again, I'm going to go back again. My name is Crystal Bodie. I'm sitting in for my brother Richard. He had to take off for today. Like I said, everybody deserves a relaxed date, and I wanted to express to my brother that I appreciate him for creating this platform for me and all of my siblings to speak on in a safe place and always giving us great advice on how to handle different things, whether it comes to this podcast or anything outside of this podcast. So today we're going to be speaking about a lot of topics, and we're going to get started with Hanif. He's present, so he's a guest today. So you can go ahead, Hanif, and start.
Okay, just 1 minute. Hello, everyone. We had a few technical difficulties getting started, and okay, I just would like to state. Let me make sure this is all the way right. Okay, yes, my name is Hannah. And I'd like to state first and foremost, fair use. This is for educational purposes, is why this channel is in operation and purposes and everything. So, once again, fair use on your caboose. You know, we will be uplifting the Bodie family in prayer, fairness, and being that they have not been treated fairly. I'm asking God to forgive them. I mean, asking God to give them strength and take away all their pain, the painful moments they've all experienced, and lead them to the path of fairness. I'm asking the higher power to instill wisdom and truth into all of them and give them the doorway to justice, a listening ear for them to speak without any interruptions. Today, we are seeking divine guidance to overcome any injustices that has been done to them and to ensure that they all are remembered. Thank God. I mean, all the things for them to be reminded that God is in control of everything. Right now in your life, Crystal, do you stand the processing of all the abuse? How, where do you stand with all that processing the abuse?
Where do I stand right now with
Yeah,
processing
like do
all
you
of the abuse?
yeah, do you love your father?
Well,
Or
I'm
do
going to
you
start with the first question you asked. Where do I
yes.
stand now with
Mhm.
processing all the abuse?
Yes.
Um, I feel like, well, I know that it's something that I'm over, but I know that I'm still going to have, because I do have not up and down days, but I have an issue with dealing with um, the bruises, the scars, what's left behind, how to get rid of that, how to clear that up. So I have issues still with that. And with
Mm.
counseling, it's gotten better. But, I also, you did the prayer, and I also rely on God as well. Always go back to God, to the point where, I thank God for my life and my siblings' life. We're all here. So to answer
Yeah.
your question about that, I'm over it. It's just that, like I said, you carry the scars, and when you carry the scars and they're visible, that's going to bring back, some memory to the whole situation and what happened. But you try to move on in life without holding grudges, and not just not holding grudges, but you try to live, with it in a way where you ignore it. And so that's
Mm.
where, I stand at today with processing all the abuse. And then you ask, do you love your father? Do I love my father?
Yes.
Somebody made a comment to me and Richard last week that they couldn't believe that we even still called him father. And one of the reasons why I think all of us still say dad is because that's just a title, naturally given to your parents. But I don't think, as far as you say love, I don't have any love for him, and I'm not being cold-hearted or anything. I just don't have any love for him like I have for my mother. I have love for her, and I have love for all of my siblings, but I don't have that type of love for him because of the things that he did. He did
Mhm.
some. I could see if you did one thing and that's wrong, but he did absolutely every and anything he could to all of us. So as far as love, I don't know how to love somebody like that.
So
I
you're
wouldn't
still
know how.
processing. You're still
No,
processing
I'm not
that whole
processing it.
situation.
No, I'm not processing it because it's nothing to process. For me,
Oh.
it's nothing to process for me. Not
Hmm.
anymore. It's nothing to process. I know where I stand, and no, there's no love there. There's no love.
Hmm.
Now,
Right.
do I pray for him? Yes, I pray for him all the time. And my prayers for him is that God saves his soul, and that someday he comes to the realization of the things that he did, and that he apologizes. So,
Hmm.
but processing, still trying to process if I love him or not. No, I'm not processing that because it's not. it's nothing to process.
Okay. Right. Hmm. Okay. Do you love your mother?
Yes, I love my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
And
can't.
have you been with that process throughout all the posts after you guys got out of the situation with your mother, or did it take you some time to get
No,
there to really
I
understand?
never had to process my love for my mother. I really never had
Mhm.
to process it. Though we're far apart from each other and we haven't spoken to each other in a while, I do know that my mother carried a heavy labor with carrying 13 children. And while she carried each of us in her womb, she was being abused with each of us. And when you abuse the person that's carrying your child, the child carries the abuse that she went through, because in the womb the child can hear, the voices.
True.
And well, we know that because we know with our own child that we birthed into the world, the number one thing is she noticed our voices. So,
Hmm.
I don't have to process the love that I have for my mother. So, no, it's different. It's different. It's different
Mm-hmm.
from um, from our Father. The love for
Hmm.
me is different.
Right.
And so I could
Okay. Do
never
you? Mhm.
say that I don't love my mother, although I don't like the things that she allowed, some of the things that she allowed. I could never say that I don't, love her at all. And I
Hmm.
do wish her the best. And I consistently pray for her all the time.
Right. I understand.
Hmm.
I overstand actually. Okay. Do
Yeah.
you love your siblings?
Oh yeah, most definitely. All my siblings. It's no ever taking that away. No, every last one of them. Absolutely no taking that away at all. So, love every last one of them.
Okay. In the past 8 to 9 months, how has this podcast helped you relive your feelings?
Uh for the past 9 months, how has this podcast helped me relieve my feelings?
Yeah, relieve. Yeah.
Well, I
Hmm.
could tell you this, starting off in the beginning, when I was asked to come on this podcast by Richard, one thing that I noticed about him is that he was very compassionate about making sure that this story, concerning what happened to all of us, got out there. Because I think the last straw was the movie that came out. And so the first time that I came up here, I believe it was sometime in January, it was a relief because I was glad and excited that people were actually going to tune in and listen to our side. That's the number one thing. And then he made me feel comfortable, and not just me, but all of our other siblings, by telling us before we got on the podcast, if we want to speak about this, you can speak about this. If you don't want to speak about this, you don't have to speak about it. Whatever you want to do. And so that's what made me be more open to speaking, because I felt comfortable. And so
Hmm.
this is just a platform that I feel really comfortable on, because it's something that he built, for all of us. And I'm very thankful to that.
Hmm. Good, good. Is there anything you wish you could change in your family?
Oh, yeah, a ton of things. A ton of things. One of the things I wish I could change in my family is the isolation that happened to all of us when we were children, isolating us from different family members. I wish I'd have got to know my aunts and my uncles more, cousins. Uh, Not just that, but we knew all of our grandparents, and we knew a selective amount of cousins, selective amount of uncles. But that was one of the things that I dealt with in counseling, that I wish I would have got to know
Mhm.
everybody more. And I also worried about, if they knew us, if they really knew us, our personalities, if they knew how each of us, what our favorite colors was, what we like to eat, you know, those were some of the things that, I wished I could change. I also wish that I could change because everybody goes through this, and I know I went through it. I wish that I could change the whole dynamic of my family. I wish that my father, at some point, not now, but I wish at some point that during that time when the abuse was going on, that it would change and he would realize he needed help and walked away and just went and got the help. But that never happened. And there was some times that I questioned God and asked, well, why we have these parents like this? But then you realize you can't question God. And I realized too, that's another phase I went through in counseling, that you're going to question yourself sometimes about different things, and the dynamic of life. But I realized this: God don't give you the wrong parents. And I'm not the only person, nor is my siblings suffering from this. There's other people in society that's going through probably worse than what we went through. So the dynamic of my family, yes, I wish I could have changed my parents. I wish I would have got to know, extended family more. But like I said, I'm content and I'm happy, with life and where it's carried me. And I also pray for all my sisters and brothers that they be proud of themselves. They be content with life and realize what life has carried all of us through. Right. So those are the things that, I wish I could change, but you can change, those things.
One of the first things I really forgot to do was to check in with you with how you're doing right now today. How are you doing right now?
Today I'm doing fine. But you always have that question mark in your head every day of, in the beginning, I had a bout of anxiety, and I was told by my primary doctor and my counselor that I need to kind of let it out because I was holding it all in. I felt like at 19 years old that I was just taking a lot in, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And I felt like I took on a lot of things during that time, and I didn't have any time for myself. And so I believe when I got to be like around 25, 26, that's when the anxiety started. And it was a break to the point where I realized, okay, I got to take care of myself. So today I'm doing fine. There was some obstacles this week, but I'm going to get past it because with my faith in God, and using all my coping skills, I know I'm going to get past it. So today I'm doing fine. And like I said, this is a talk. I'm glad we're having this talk because this is a talk that we need to have. Hopefully this reaches all of our siblings and relatives in our family, as well as people on the outside world and people that follow us on this podcast, because sometimes you think you're alone. And that's what I thought. I thought, when this happened, that, hey, we're alone. This just happening to us, but it's not in life. So today I'm doing good. Just been busy. It's just like I said, with handling a lot of paperwork and doing a lot of research, you realize how tough it is to be an attorney, to be a judge. You look at the judicial system, and you look at how much paperwork that they juggle. And then when you're handed that, it's like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to contact this person, and that's what me and Richard have been doing for almost the last coming up 9 months. Is just working, really hard. And it's not just for us, it's for the sake of, our family too.
Yes. And that brings this to this point here. this question here. Is there any way for you to open your heart to forgiveness?
What do you mean? Open my heart to forgiveness.
Like, do you have any grudges against anyone?
No, I don't have any grudges because grudges aren't good to hold. But you forgive, but you don't forget. You know, I would say this. I'm still having a hard time, which we spoke about before on this podcast, with some of our siblings, and I think I spoke about it last week. It just takes time, and so I'm the type of person is if you're not going to apologize, then why should I? Just like,
Right.
oh, this is with everybody because I do accept apologies and I do know how to forgive. This is just with this one individual, and that's our father who hasn't apologized for the things that he's done to all of us. So this is the issue that I have with forgiveness is that it was repeatedly done over and over and over again. And it's like you're an individual and none of us is perfect. We're all going to make mistakes, but the mistakes he made, we haven't made those mistakes that he's made. He's made some very horrific mistakes and he hasn't realized yet how much he's harmed people, and he's older. And I do know that he's not going to change, but it's just that one apology. Where is it at? So that's what the issue is. And it's not that I'm carrying it around. There's a forgiveness point. There's a level where I don't carry it with me no more. You know?
So
I don't live with it.
Oh, that's the next question. Are you still living with the pain of the past?
No, not at all. No.
Okay. How has counseling been for you?
Wait, you said, am I still living with the pain of the past?
Yes.
You know what? I'm not living with the pain of the past, because what happened is what I look at is I look at all of my siblings. I look at my mom. I was looking at my mom just about, I think you recall this day, about 2 weeks ago. And I was looking at the picture and it was like she has a worried look on her face. And you know how you can look at a picture just like you're looking at art. You can look at a picture and a picture can tell you a lot about a person. And so I looked at the picture and I was just like, looks like she has a lot of worry on her shoulder. And I think I mentioned this to Richard too, that she just looks like she has a lot of worry on her shoulder. But do I carry the pain of the past? No, not pain, but I carry a reminder that, hey, this bruise is still here, this cut is still here, this cut is here, the lashes are still there, the fused bone is still there. So those are the type of things that is a reminder to me.
And so you've been receiving counseling, and how has counseling been for you? Has it helped you?
Oh yeah, counseling has really helped, and it's opened a lot of doors for me because counseling taught me what was actually going on, things I didn't understand that was going on in a home to a higher level. Now, there was a lot of things I did understand, and there was a lot of things I didn't understand. There was a lot of things I think all of my siblings, they understood, but there was a lot of things they didn't understand, like the dynamics of abuse. Like I was told in counseling, why do you keep saying that you stole food? And I was like, to my counselor, I was like, what do you mean? Why do I keep saying I stole food? She said, you didn't steal anything. You went and you helped yourself to a meal that was yours. You didn't steal anything. And so I said, well, that's what we was taught, that we were thieves, that we were stealing. So that I learned how to get away from that, because in my head, even though we were out of the home, I still felt like, oh, well, we stole. That's why we was punished. This is something we told the detectives, every last one of us, and the social workers and the prosecution. we stole food, but we didn't know any better because that was what was being taught to us, is that you stole food. And so you don't just come up with those things in your head as a kid, and then you grow up with it as an adult, and you still have that same cycle until you're going through counseling. And I learned that, hey, that's not stealing. And there was a lot of other things, but the counseling has really helped me out because it's taught me how to control my anxiety. It's taught me how to let things go. It's taught me how to wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do is pray, and then the second thing I say to myself is, today is going to be a good day.
Yes.
So those are things that I became used to doing to keep myself going.
Now, you said today is a good day, but have you had moments where you feel like you want to just crawl under a rock, so to say, just get away from everything, everybody, in a sense, for a little bit?
Yeah, I've had several days like that, but I realized that going back to the past and having those memories of what happened, that I have to let it go. And I've let that stuff go and learned to cope with it in the best way I know how, and to move on. Like, there's a lot of things that I went through in counseling, like, you want certain things, in life. I remember when we first met and we started going out dating, there was a pair of boots I wanted. And I remember your mom told me, she said, if you save your money, because I was working at the time, she said, if you save your money, she said, you can buy those boots. And so when I saved the money, I could go buy the boots. Because you see other women walking around, oh, they got nice boots. I would like to dress like that. I would like to have this. But I realized if I earn it, then I can have it. And so that's how I am now. I'm a really, and not just for me, but for my family. And not just for my family, I do other things. A lot of volunteer work for domestically abused women. A lot of things with our the Bodie and Hampton Family Foundation that we're running. We do a lot of things with helping families. And this foundation was founded off all 13 of me and my siblings. And it was founded because we didn't have much growing up. We didn't have much. And then I look at kids today, and I just like, when we have our toy drives and stuff, I'm just like, let them have this, let them have that. Because you want to see a smile on kids' faces, So, yeah, I've had, up and down days. Yeah, you feel like, I don't want to go to work today, but, you find a way. You find a way. And every time I've found a way. And so that's what I'm going to continue to do, is keep finding a way.
Yes. And before I ask this next question, I want to state to everybody that's watching this podcast is that we're going to be dealing with coping skills, and it's going to be a list of coping skills. And for coping skills, if you're going through it, or if you've been through abuse or whatever. So if you have to leave, please come back and view this video and take the information down that can help you with coping skills. With that being said, I'd like to ask you, Crystal, what are your coping skills?
My coping skills, let's see. I like working out, going on walks a lot, journaling, let's see, watching movies, and then sometimes reading something spiritual. Those are my coping skills. I like ceramics.
Oh, a hobby.
I do a lot of ceramic. Yeah, that's a really big hobby of mine. So I do a lot of that. I love writing. I like reading as well. Anything. Oh, and cooking. I love cooking because I cook all the time. So cooking. So anything just to keep your mind off of going there, that helps me.
Yes. So what advice would you give others that have been through or going through what you've been through?
The advice I would give to others, It's a challenge. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
it's a challenge every day. But when you find help, when you realize that you're going through something, and then you get help, those challenges they slowly go away. They slowly go away. Those challenges. So
Okay. Are you sometimes afraid to speak
and
when
there's
it?
help out there.
Mhm. Okay. Are you sometimes
You
afraid
said
to
what?
speak when it comes to speaking up for yourself? How do you advocate? Are you scared to advocate for yourself sometime?
I used to kind of be a little bit, but no, not anymore. I'm not.
Mm.
Because I was always afraid, if I'm going to say the wrong thing, am I going to say the right thing? Is this correct what I'm saying? What is this person going to think next to me? You know. But now I'm just at a point in my life where I feel like, no, I'm able to speak for myself. I'm able to speak for others that can't speak for themselves and help others out. So I used to be like that a little bit, but I think I've grown out of that.
Okay, so that was like what? Wonder what others think of you, right?
Yeah,
So do you
like
ever wonder
I
what
could
others
just
think
tell
of
you,
you?
it was a thing where the things that our father did in our home, and some of the things that Laura did in our home, and then some of the things that she's doing now, like in my mind, with people that's posting things on Instagram and Facebook and it's negative. It's like you wonder sometimes in your head, what do these people think of you? And they don't know you. This is coming from one person. One person is telling this story, and you don't hear it from everyone else. So I wonder in my head, what do they think of me? You know, I wonder what family thought of me. But guess what? I got over it. I got over it. I'm at a point right now where I'm just really happy, with myself. And you can have your up and down days, but you know, I don't have those feelings anymore. You just pick yourself
Right.
up and try again, pretty much.
Mhm. Okay, I'm going to go across a few coping skills for victims. I'm going to interject these. And one of the coping skills is deep breathing.
Hmm.
Practicing deep breathing. When you feel yourself have a lot of thoughts racing through your mind and you're trying to catch your breath, it's good to do deep breathing. 4 seconds in, 5 seconds out, until you reach the level where that calm sets in, and you'll know that it sets in once after you practice it. As you go through the deep breathing, you'll know and it will relieve you. Like, wow, so this is good as any medication. And if you don't have any medication, something that would help you in these situations, that's what it's all about. Deep breathing. 4 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Also focusing in on your senses to stay focused. So you want to focus on your senses to stay focused. So you feel what your senses are. You think about, your senses. What am I sensing right here? And then you go off in that because it's something that's telling you something, whatever you're feeling.
Hmm.
And you want to focus in on that and all the good things that you said. Okay, be patient. You know, this too will pass because it's only a matter of time. And another one is self care, practicing self care. You have to take care of yourself. You have to do healthy eating, exercising, maintaining a routine, engaging in creative outlets, get thoughts, and that's important. Shifting negative thoughts because you want to make sure you're doing positive self talk thought with positive affirmations. and avoid numbing. Now, numbing is a big thing because people say, "What is numbing?"
Yeah.
Numbing is what can I do so I don't feel this anymore? Can I take a drink? Can I use some type of drugs? You know, and or either can I just stick my head in a hole and just hide from everybody and just ignore it and just be something that's going to numb me to what's actually going on. And once you do that numbing and those feelings, that's a way of
Mm-hmm.
stuffing. And you'll stuff all those feelings and to the point where somewhere you stuffed them for so long, but then they'll explode on you. So that's why you want to avoid self-medicating yourself. Get you some help from you and your culture that is this, that, and the other, because everybody needs counseling, great counseling, no matter what type of religion, belief, whatever. It's going to base into having good counseling. And that's what it's all about. And so that's why it's important for you to get some help that you need, somebody that can really help you. Find a counselor that you click with too. It might not be the first one, but you find one that can really help you, and make sure they give you homework. Now, and if you're a believer in God and God only, pray, because prayer always help. Supplication to the Most High is going to always help. Now, what are wrongdoers? We get off to what are wrongdoers need to do, and I'm not just talking about them, I'm talking about everyone. What do wrongdoers need to do? And first of all, they need to repent. They need to apologize. They need to commit to changing the behavior and pay compensation or restitution for the wrong that they have done. That's just the start. For victims that have been through what your parents put you through, don't become like them, because this serves you no purpose. Get yourself some help. And it's funny because when we're dealing with victims, victims of family abuse, coping skills can be divided into strategies for individual safety, emotional processing, and long-term healing and recovery. It is important to remember that every individual's healing process is unique. Immediate coping, immediate safety and crisis coping. Immediate. These are often survival strategies used while in an abusive situation or during a crisis. So you want to do safety planning. Develop a plan for safe exit in case of danger. Identify safe places to go. Friend's house, shelter, police station, supermarket, somewhere where it's a lot of people at. Having important documents and emergency food gathering. And that's in the sense of when you're in that situation and you're dealing with crisis, and crisis, when you have some time off, be prepared, get you a go bag ready so you can just grab it and go. And have important documents and emergency funds gathered. That's important. Now, exposure reduction, intentionally leaving the house for errands, work, school, or extracurricular activities to limit time around the abuser. So you want to cut the exposure. Finding reasons to stay out late, library until closing. Appeasing the abuser, a survival strategy. Psychological warfare. The appeasers threaten you with something if you don't do. Say they're a nice person. Yes, you're a nice person. You're a very nice person. And make it believable for them. And that'll give you some room, and you'll see them click off a stage, and that might just be open up enough room for you to get away. Agreeing to commands or staying silent to avoid conflict and maintain immediate safety. Avoiding conversations that might spark an argument. Anything that will trigger them, don't trigger them. Stay away from the triggers. And then remember, seeking immediate help. Soon as you can, get to the help. Calling the police or crisis hotline. And one of the hotline numbers that we have here is 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. Seeking advice or help from a trusted person, friends, relatives. Now, grounding techniques for managing triggers and flashbacks. And then there's the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Identifying 5 things you see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. So that's the 5-4-3-2 method. Identifying things you see, things you feel, things you hear, and things you smell, and things you taste. So those are the 5-4-3 when you're somewhere and you're not surrounded, like, where am I going? They got me in this trunk. What did I hear? Do I hear some noises outside? Does the car move left or right? You can even count how many times you keep on counting to see where a car turns right or left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 37 left. The start over 1, 2, and then then you keep on. I would just keep on counting 37 left. And then you do those. You do that. Okay, mindful breathing, slow measuring. We talked about that before. First thing you want to do, using physical sensations like splashing.
Okay, it looks like he froze. So I'm going to keep going until he comes back in. So to piggyback off of what he was saying about repentance and the wrongdoers, first of all, yeah, you do want to repent and you want to apologize, but you don't want to put the onus on the victims. You want to put the onus on the perpetrator, and also paying compensation, correct, and changing the behavior and not doing it anymore. So then I'm going to piggyback off for the victims that have been through what your parents put you through. It's not just us. There's many people that have gone through the situation we went through. You don't want to become a perpetrator like them. You don't want to be in a position where you're doing the exact behavior that they did. And then that behavior that you're doing, it result in you getting in trouble and going to jail. So those things you want to change. And I'm going to get off into the next segment concerning Musa and Laura. So there was a clip that was shown last week, or we probably didn't show it, but there was a clip that was shown concerning Laura stating that she was held captive for 3 years. And again, I'm reiterating it. We all thought it was 6 months. So here we go again with 3 years now that she's telling another interviewer. And a lot of things that she says don't add up. And if you look at the podcast, you can see that most of the time when she's talking about all of us. And then on top of that, I didn't like the fact that Rick Zirkle was in this documentary with her called No One Could Hear You Scream. And I don't know if you all saw that. He stated that he believed. And when you say you believed something, you're actually you're speculating because you don't have facts. So you can't just say, I believe that she suffered from fear. Now, I lived in the home and there was absolutely no fear of her when it came to Musa. They both did things to each other that was actually weird. Their relationship was just weird. And I didn't see any fear at all. So for him to speculate and say that there was some fear, that she had some fear of him, I was like, no, not possible at all. Because if it was, I would say so, but not possible at all that there was any fear, because she left anytime she wanted to. And then she also obtained a lease to another location to leave, and then came back, and the police was called on her by her father, and police asked her what was she doing there, and she stated that, well, I came back for him. Now, if you look at another documentary that she did, where she states that, actually was on the podcast with Top TV, where she states that she wanted the polygamous relationship to work. She went in with her eyes wide open. That's just giving, all the lies you told, truth to all the lies you told. Because you're saying that you wanted the relationship to work. You went in with your eyes wide open and you knew exactly what was going on. So what was the problem? That's what I don't understand. What was the problem? I just, I don't get it. So, again, I just ask everyone to, look at the 13 victims. Look at the 13 victims, because Musa and Laura did a lot of horrible things. And while Laura plays a victim to her behavior, that happened inside of the home and on social media, the facts is that the 13 individuals are the facts, because we experienced what went on in that home and we saw exactly what happened in the home. And so anything outside of that, I hate it when people say, I think, or this could have possibly happened, that could have possibly happened. What I like things told in chronological order. I like stuff that's documented. I like the speculation. Speculation gets you nowhere. And you'll realize that if you've ever been in court, and I've been in several courtrooms. As a matter of fact, I went to court maybe 4 or 5 years ago to sue Home Depot. And I realized going into court, the only thing I needed is just a paper trail of what happened to a brand new refrigerator that I purchased that didn't work after a month or two. And so what was made to happen to Home Depot, the judge made them reward me back all of my money so that I could buy a brand new refrigerator. So my thing is that I like to look at facts, paperwork, paper trail, stuff like that. And so it's nearing that time right now where we're going to close out. I think we've been up here for about 50 minutes. Hannah lost contact with us, and we're done.
Hey, let me see.
Yeah.
Let me add him back. I don't know what happened. I started to get up here right quick with y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He lost contact.
oh, he did.
Yep.
I tried to put him. Yeah,
I can see
yeah, tried to
3.
put him. Yeah, tried to put him back up here. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I was listening to it. It was pretty good. I was listening.
Mm-hmm. Did the live
So,
stop?
no, it's still going. I was just saying I got back. I got up here because I just wanted to say that I listened to what y'all was saying. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Even though I supposed to been resting today, but
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I jump up here.
Right.
But yeah, you can end it, Crystal. You can end it.
Yeah,
You
so
can
we're
end
going to end this live, and there's going to be a part 2 because, like I said, there's more to come. And so if anybody want to leave any comments, you can leave comments, and we'll get back to you and answer them. But appreciate everybody, and thank you for joining us today. Good night.